In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a radar animation in Illustrator and After Effects.
Dreadlabs.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Tom from Dreadlabs and I'm a visual artist and graphic designer. There's not really too much to say about this tutorial other than that if you want to download the project files for this, you can download them on my Patreon and the link for that is in the description down below. Without any further ado, let's dive straight into the video. Alright, so we are here in Adobe Illustrator and this is basically the base of the radar that we're going to do, and most of this is completely optional, so if you want to skip a step, feel free to do so and create your own version of this radar visual. So let's hide this layer for now and let's start from scratch, and I'm going to make a new layer. You can just ignore this layer 1 for now, and we're going to start with a rectangle. We're going to change the fill color to black and we're going to click on the stroke and click on this little slash button to make it so that our rectangle doesn't have a stroke, and then we'll just go and cover our full canvas, and our canvas is basically 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. In the layer menu, I'm just going to lock this so I don't have to select this over and over again. And the next thing that we're going to do is over the line segment tool here, let's go to the polar grid tool. And once you draw this out, you can basically see how you want your radar to look. So for example, I think I'm going to go with something similar to this. And if you want to make a perfect circle, don't let go of your mouse yet and just press shift on your keyboard and then just place it like this. And as you can see, it's now invisible, but let's click on the stroke here and make this a nice little green. I will align this to the middle here, like that. So the next part of this is basically create these like little increments at the top. So let's zoom in here, grab our pen tool, and I'm going to also lock the polar grid here. I'm just going to make a line that goes up like this, select it, and then I'm going to press R on my keyboard to bring up the rotate tool, but you can also find that here in the toolbar. And let's click on the anchor here in the middle while holding Alt or Option on keyboard. And this will bring up the rotate menu, and here you can basically decide how many increments you want. So for example, if we choose an angle of 10 degrees, you can see the next one will be over here. So this distance, it's a little bit far away, I think, so let's go with 5 degrees and click on copy. And basically we now want to repeat that action every single time, and we can do that really easily by pressing Ctrl or Command D on our keyboard. So if we do that, it will just repeat itself, and we can do this until we have a full circle. There we go. And as you can see, this really makes our layer menu very messy. So what I tend to do is now select everything, right click, and just group everything. And because we locked our layers underneath, these will be just completely separate from each other. And if you want, what you can try to do is, for example, select these two. So I'm going to bring up the direct selection tool, and this makes it so that I can select stuff inside of this group still without affecting the whole group. I'm going to drag a rectangle selection around the top and bottom one, and I'm also going to select all of these ones that are connected to the grid in the middle. And I want to make the stroke for these maybe like 3, so that they're a little bit thicker. So another one of these things that you tend to see a lot here is crosshairs, and I actually have a very interesting way of creating these. So let's lock in the last group, and what I want to do is click on this anchor with the pen tool and make a line to the top here. Let's go to the properties and make the stroke 1 again. Now we basically have this little stroke right here, and we want to just copy that over to the next segment. So we're going to hold Alt or Option on our keyboard and click and drag, and while we're clicking and dragging, I'm holding Shift, and now I'm just going to make sure that it's basically completely connected to the next one. So these are 2 separate segments, and because we did this in one action, I can also do this again by pressing Ctrl D on our keyboard and Ctrl D on our keyboard and Ctrl D on our keyboard, and that makes it so that we have now 5 different lines over here. To make these crosshairs, what we want to do is basically go to Effect, Distort and Transform, and now we can just rotate all of these individually with the rotate tool right here and click on OK. We can even scale the horizontal line down as well if we want to, and just click OK. And then we're going to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and as you can see, we now have these crosshairs in the middle. And of course, if you want to change the size, you can still do that right here. Maybe I'm going to make them a little bit wider like that. And now if we want to copy these over to all of the other lines, all we simply need to do is, we've done this before in the tutorial, press R on our keyboard to bring up the rotate tool, and then click on the middle here while holding Alt or Option on our keyboard, and with 60 degrees, that makes it so that it's basically completely covered in 6 segments. So click on copy, and there we go, we have a radar. Let's group this together as well. So now I also want to simulate a background. So the way we're going to do that is basically right click on the polar grid tool or the line segment tool if it's still up there, and go to the rectangular grid tool. We're going to basically just draw out a grid. And before you let go, if you play around with the arrow up and downs, you can actually determine how many of these lines you want in your grid. I think something like this will be fine for me. And again, I want to have the same stroke, but maybe a little bit thinner. So maybe like 0.5 or 0.25. 0.25 is maybe a little bit thin, so let's do 0.5. And as you can see, it's now crossing over in the actual radar. So the way that I wanted to fix this is just go to the ellipse tool and make an ellipse with a black fill and go to the middle here, click and drag. And once you're at like one of the outer points, hold Alt and Shift. And if you're on a Mac, it's Option and Shift, of course. And now we got this covered, and basically we just drag this down together with the grid here. And you can do that by pressing Control or Command and then the blocky brackets thingies. But you can also just drag them down in the layer menu here. And if we now click away, you can see that we finished with our radar grid. So for the next thing, we want to have the actual scanner. And the way that we're going to do the scanner is we're going to select this circle that we've made here before. I'm going to do that by clicking Control or Command C on our keyboard and then pressing Control or Command F on our keyboard, and this will paste a copy in the same place. So as you can see, there's now 2 circles here, and we want to bring this all the way to the top here. And then with the pen tool, I want to basically make a segment of this. And now I cannot really see it anymore, so I can either just remove the fill on this, but I can also just press Control or Command Y on my keyboard, and this will bring up the outline menu. So before I draw my line, I tend to lock everything in place, and this is just so that my pen tool won't connect to all of the lines that I might be making, or the lines that already exist. And then click on all of the points to make 1/6 of a circle segment here, and then just close it off outside of the circle. And then you want to select your ellipse as well, and then bring up the Pathfinder menu. And if you cannot find the Pathfinder menu, go to Window, Pathfinder, and with the ellipse and the segment selected, click on the intersect button here, and let's go back from our Command Y outline vision. And as you can see, we now have a piece of the pie, I guess. Now the next thing that I want to do is basically leave the stroke, but for the fill, let's click on a gradient like this. And for the gradient, let's go with the click on the white button on the left of the gradient here. And this menu should automatically pop up once you change your fill to a gradient. But if you cannot find it, go to Window, Gradient as well. Next, click on the white part of the slider here, and then click on the color picker and just hold Shift while you're clicking on somewhere green, and this will change the fill color to green, and we'll change the opacity to 0%, and click on the black bar and we'll do the exact same thing. So we're gonna click on the eyedropper tool here, make sure that that's selected, hold Shift on your keyboard, and then click on one of the lines, and there we go. If we, for example, select this now, go to the rotate tool and make sure that our anchor is in here. Now if we rotate this, as you can see, we have our scanner effect already, but then we still need to animate it, of course. And I just mentioned that you need to leave on the stroke, and that's not true. You can just delete the stroke. And here we go, we have our scanner effect. So now we want to export this into Adobe After Effects and create an animation of this. That's what we're going to do in the next part of the tutorial. So the first thing that you want to do is go to your artboard tool. You can also achieve that by going to Shift O on your keyboard and then click on the plus button right here and make a new artboard. And basically all you need to do is select the radar part, press Control or Command X on your keyboard to just cut it away. Then click on the second artboard and then press Control or Command F to paste it in the exact same place. And now what you basically can do is export these as a PNG file. So we're going to do that by going to File, Export, Export as Screens, and then you can just export it to wherever you want. One side note is, of course, if you want to make this at a higher resolution, all you need to do is save this as a vector image. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to do it as a PNG. Make sure I'm exporting everything. Alright, so in After Effects, we're going to make a new composition that's the same size as what we've made before. In my case, that's 1920 by 1080 pixels, and we'll call the composition radar. And now press Control or Command I to import the PNG files that we just made. And let's drop them both in, put the base down to the bottom. And all we need to do now is basically click on the R button when the radar is selected. And this will bring us up the rotation. Click on the stopwatch to animate it. And then we'll move all the way to 15 seconds. You can make this composition as long as you'd like, however, of course. But what I found out is that I tend to like the animation the most when it comes to, or one rotation per 5 seconds. So if we press 3 in here, we now play. As you can see, the speed, this is the speed that I like, but of course feel free to experiment with this. We're nearly already there. All we need to do is have the little radar pings if something shows up. And we're going to start by making the main one, and we're going to do that by creating a new solid layer. And for the solid color, let's just make a bright green as well. Then with the ellipse tool here selected at the top, we'll double click and create a mask of this. Alright, and basically we want to make a perfect circle. So, and the circle will be 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels. So 1080 pixels is the height already, so that's fine. But the width of this is 1920 pixels. The difference between 1920 pixels and 1080 pixels is 840 pixels. So all we need to do is divide 840 pixels by 2 to put it on both sides. So that is 420 on the left, and for this it's 1500 because it's 1920 minus 420. If you're confused, just copy these settings. And this will make a perfect circle. And what we want to do is create an animation for the mask expansion. So at first, we're going to click on the mask expansion at the 0-second mark and click on the stopwatch. And we'll change this to minus 540. Because the full circle is 1080 by 1080, this will basically mean that it's completely gone. And if we then move our cursor to the 5-second mark, we'll change this back to 0. So basically we now have a growing circle, which is nice. And the next thing that we want to do is hold Alt or Option and then click on the stopwatch and then type in loop out. And this will make it so that after this is finished, it will repeat the same action again. So now we still need to find a way to subtract this like scanning thingy. I don't know how to explain it. You probably know what I mean. We kind of need this to fade out. If you want to duplicate the mask here, all you need to do is press Command or Control D on your keyboard, and this will make a second mask. And this will do the exact same thing. So there's not really anything happening. So all that we need to do now, for some reason, these keyframes moved towards here. We still need to have those at the 0-second mark. So for the second one, we'll change the feather to 120 pixels. And this will make it so that it's fading a little bit, as you can kind of see from the glow now. And we want to have this set to minus 540. And we'll copy this exact keyframe until the 1-second mark. This basically means that it's just growing later. At the end, what we want to do is have this expand to positive 100 pixels. And basically this now makes it so that these two masks are doing the same thing. But what we need to do is basically change the add blend mode here to subtract. And as you can see, the second mask will now basically remove itself from the first one, creating this sonar effect. So you might want to play around with these settings and see what works the best for you. For example, if we just put this later, or if we just remove this, the thing will be more invisible because this basically makes the whole fade larger, I guess. So if we move the second keyframe here to a later stage to 2 seconds, it basically means that the fade will come in later, as you can kind of see. A little bit too late, so maybe let's just move it to in between 1 and 2 seconds. And maybe what we can do is just put this to 50 pixels, but then we'll still get it visible. So I guess what we need to do is change this to 50 pixels. And as you can see, it's kind of like expanding towards where the mask is. And of course you can leave this to a little bit more inwards, maybe 20 pixels. And that will make it so that it's not pinging outside of the radar, I guess. Maybe like minus 30 pixels. So now all we need to do is right click on this, pre-compose it, and then move all attributes onto a new composition and call this ping or whatever you want to call this. And the cool part about this is that it's basically just duplicatable. So let's just click on Control and Command D and make it smaller with the scale. We'll just press S on our keyboard and this will bring up the transform options, and then we can just click and drag this to somewhere else. So what I like to do is move my cursor around. For example, now I can see in this timing around the 3-second mark, the radar is over here. So I'll just move the ping towards here as well. And then I'll just move the timing from it also towards here. So basically what this now means is that once the radar comes up there, next smaller ping starts happening. See? And what you can do is, if you want to change the color of these smaller ones, all you need to do is go to Effects and Presets, click on Fill, or type in Fill, sorry, and just drop in the fill on towards this. And as you can see, it's now red, but you can just change it to any color. And there we go, we have our radar effect. So one thing to top this off, if you like it, what you can do is go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer, and we'll rename this adjustment layer to glow, and we'll just add a glow effect to this. And what I like to do is rather than just have the original colors, I just do A and B. And then for this, I like to do like a slight hue, a slight bluish glow. I don't know why, but it makes it look kind of better, I guess. I like it that way. This makes the top more bluish. We want to lower the threshold a little bit more like this, make the radius a little bit bigger, and then the intensity will set to 0.2 to make it a little bit more subtle, maybe a little bit too subtle. But this gives off for me like that that weird like blue haze when you look at a screen. Of course, feel free to play around with the glow and all of the settings basically that I just showcased in this tutorial, and whatever way you like to create your own version of this radar visual. So that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you learned something new and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to create something with this and you want to show me, be sure to do so through the Discord. The description for that will be in the description down below. And if you want to support the channel, go to dreadlabs.net and get yourself some assets or get access to all of my project files from all of my tutorials on my Patreon page. The link for everything is in the description down below. Also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. And with all of that being said, this is Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.